Hello friends, followers and channel members, welcome to another video here in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, and it has finally arrived. It's been long awaited, but version 1.6, the newest version of self-loading cargo, has today been released. Now, it is no secret that it has been a bit of an ongoing issue with the update, as it has been touted for many months now. A lot of people had given up hope with self-loading cargo, thinking that it was now basically abandonware. Well, that is absolutely not the case. Steve, the guy behind self-loading cargo, has released this latest version, and although it's called version 1.6, really, it could probably have done with being called version 2, because the changes that this has brought into it is simply stunning. Everything has been overhauled, and it basically now is just like a brand new program. In this video, we are going to take a detailed first look at how the program works, how we interact with it, and what's really exciting is the voice recognition, meaning you will now interact with the ground, the cabin, and make the PA announcements. The program is now so detailed that a full tutorial on it would be a really long video. So instead, what we are going to do in this video is just take you through the basics, have a good first look at how it all works, and then you can see just what has changed in the new version, with so much more to explore going forward. And we'll no doubt be doing this together during our live streams. The first really important piece of information is, if you do currently have self-loading cargo installed on your PC, well then you must uninstall it, and make sure you follow the instructions here that you see on screen. Once uninstalled, you also need to go and remove the specific folder that it tells you to, so that you're starting with a brand new clean installation. Once this has been downloaded from the self-loading cargo website, we get that all installed, and it's time to have some fun with the new self-loading cargo. Now, if you are using this with Microsoft Flight Simulator, it is very important that you don't unzip the download into the community folder, because self-loading cargo is a completely separate program from Microsoft Flight Simulator. It communicates with it via FSUIPC 7, which needs to be downloaded separately. But if you are a user of self-loading cargo previously, you will already have this installed. A link to FSUIPC 7 is in the video description down below, should you require it. Once it has all been unzipped, you can then run the executable file for self-loading cargo. You'll need to make sure that FSUIPC 7 is running, and of course, make sure your flight simulator is running. So I've loaded ourselves here just at Stansted for a very short flight down to Gatwick, just to test this out. The first thing you'll notice when you load up the new version is, of course, as it's a brand new installation, you are going to need to put in your payment email address and serial number. So I'm just going to activate self-loading cargo just now. Once that's done, then self-loading cargo will shut down and restart itself. And here we are, the new interface. What I like about this as well is, with the little mouse wheel down at the bottom, you can scroll to make it larger or smaller, so it's not going to get in the way of your overall flight. So let's take a look. Today we are going to be doing an airliner flight. Now obviously we are in an Airbus A320, not an A220, so let's just quickly go change that. So we're in the Neo today, the flyby-wire A320 Neo, and of course we can select which cabin then layout we want. Now you can actually go in and you can create your own cabin layouts. Full details of how to do this are included in the manual. Obviously for this little review video, I'm just going to select the first one that's there. I like the fact we've also got a social distancing one, which presumably will reduce the amount of passengers you can have, because it's going to leave space between them. But let's just go with the standard. It's got Swiss as the predetermined one. 150 seats, Eco, and 24 business. You can also add more aircraft layouts. If you select this, it will then take you to the self-loading cargo website. This, of course, is going to be updated with new cabin layouts that you will be able to either, as I say, you can create them yourself, or users of self-loading cargo presumably will then be able to share them as well. So I'm going to leave everything just set up to default, as this is how the program comes in its default state, and instead of tinkering around around with that, what we're going to do is we're going to set up the flight plan and see how this new version works. So of course it's nice and easy if we can just import from SimBrief. So if I go to the import SimBrief OFP, we must obviously enter our SimBrief username. Yep, let's do that just now. That brings up the settings box. Now this looks very similar to how it used to be. So let me just type this in here. And that should now all be saved. Let's close that down. There we go, that looks like it's worked. Obviously the airline you'd need to enter yourself, so we'll just pop in EasyJet for this, and let's have a look. It tells us down here a departure summary. Now the times that are shown here are based on the information from SimBrief. So my SimBrief flight plan is indeed due to depart at 12:45. It's also got the arrival time in there. You can change this if you wish. Obviously if you are late, then that will change the announcements that the pilot will make, basically saying that you're now delayed and hopefully going to make up the time, apologise to the passengers, etc. But what we're going to try and do is of course depart on time. We've got the departure summary, as I say, down here. So the flight obviously leaves today. Check-in is in progress, and the check-in opened 3 hours 5 minutes ago. Boarding was meant to start 5 minutes ago. Clearly I'm late with that. So you can either skip boarding and loading, because we've got GSX as well, and as I'm sure many of you will have too. So that obviously provides the visuals. How we're going to get these to work both together, not entirely sure just yet, but I'm sure that there will be a way that we can get GSX for the visuals, and of course how the passengers and the cabin all works will come through self-loading cargo, just as it did in the previous versions. But for now I'm going to ignore GSX as we explore the full potential of the new self-loading cargo version. So let's have a look and see if we can start the boarding process and get people on board. So before the flight starts, we of course need to select our in-flight services. EasyJet, obviously being a low-cost carrier, so you've got different standards of service. Obviously low-cost short haul, that sounds pretty standard for this flight, considering we're literally just zipping across London for it. So I'm going to select the short haul flight. The time zone intelligence is already in work, so presumably it knows where we are in the world. There is of course no Wi-Fi available, but I like the fact that if you're obviously flying a much larger aircraft where Wi-Fi might be available, you're able to select different standards of Wi-Fi for your passengers, and that will have an impact on the happiness of the passengers as well. Boarding protocol, well of course if you're flying low-cost carrier it would presumably be those that have paid the most money to board first. For us though, I'm just going to leave this to board from we'll go from back to front. Let's start the flight and see what happens.
Ground to cockpit. Go ahead. Hello.
Hi, Captain. How are you?
Hi there. I'm fine, thanks.
Great. We're just preparing the cabin for the passengers. We'll speak to the terminal staff once the door is opened and find out how long they think it'll be until boarding begins.
Okay, no problem. Feel free to open the doors whenever you're ready.
No problem.
Hi, Captain. Microphone check, please. Crystal clear. 5 out of 5. Okay, Captain. Radio check is complete. We'll contact you when we're ready to start loading. Roger. Ground to cockpit.
Okay, so you heard some interaction there from the ground crew and also the purser and the cabin. This is all customizable, of course, with the sound packs. If you want to change these, then you are able to do that. But this new version includes over 5,000 different voice calls and PAs and things like that. So it really has gone into a lot of detail. So after the initial flight start and the ground communication that you've just heard, then we get into self-loading cargo as perhaps we're used to seeing it in the old version. Selecting on the wheel brings up the different things that are going on. So currently flight information, we've got passenger boarding in progress, tells you how many are on board, seated, secured, etc. So this is very similar to the window that we were used to seeing. Now if I have a quick look down here, you can see passengers are boarding, but somehow the doors are all closed. So I believe there should be a way, if we bring in door management and then synchronize that with the simulator, then we should see, there we go, that door is currently closed. So that is now linked up to opening and closing the doors on the aircraft directly. So let's just use the EFB, open the doors, and we can get boarding restarted. So we'll open the forward door. We can also open the aft door as well. And you can see that this starts to flash. The doors are starting to open, and hopefully this should change in a moment. There we go. Boarding is back underway again. You may have heard that when the door opened, it started playing a sort of airport ambience sound. Now, I don't particularly like this, but if you go into the options, then this is very detailed, and there are lots of menus and sub-menus, so you can go through and select everything you want to tailor self-loading cargo to work exactly as you want. So if we now just go to our sounds and have a look at the external effects, turn that off, and that noise has now just disappeared in the background. So with this new version, you have the ability to speak to ground. You can also use the intercom and of course the PA system to talk to the passengers. Now all of these are optional. You don't have to have these. So for instance, if I am using GSX to communicate with the ground crew, then I don't perhaps need this turned on. And you can use the settings page to have a look, go into the sounds menu and ground crew, and you just simply turn off the master switch. That way that's not going to affect your flight with self-loading cargo, and the ground crew from self-loading cargo aren't going to be contacting you either. But it is quite nice that when reloading the aircraft with fuel, so refueling, the ground crew will give you a little message and let you know when that's started and when that's done. But again, it's up to you how much of self-loading cargo you actually want to use. Let's have a look then at how we would use this to speak to the passengers, etc. So if we want to go to the PA system, they've just come on board, so there's a little ding. Everyone should now be listening intently, and we'll welcome on board today's flight.
Cockpit. This is your captain speaking. I'd like to welcome you on board this afternoon's flight. I hope you're all well. We're currently preparing for departure up here in the cockpit, and once we're airborne we'll be climbing to our cruise level of 21,000 feet. We're not anticipating any delays, so we hope to be underway very shortly. The cabin crew will start securing the cabin once the aircraft has pushed back from the stand. As we make our way to the departure runway, please make sure you're seated and secured as they make their way around the aircraft. The weather is looking good, so it should be a nice, comfortable climb up to our cruise level. Once we're airborne, there shouldn't be any issue during our climb. It's a pretty straightforward departure out of the airport, so nothing to worry about there. The wind forecast during our cruise looks very favourable, so we expect to arrive on time at our destination, but we will of course keep you up to date should there be any changes. The ground crew have finished loading the aircraft, so if you could get yourself seated and secured, we'll be able to get going straight away. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy the flight.
Alright, so I've just finished setting up the aircraft. I want the cabin crew now to close the doors, and we'll tell the ground crew that we're going to start the APU. So if we use the intercom system, and we obviously have to wait for them to pick up and respond.
Hi.
How's it going?
Passengers are boarded. We'll close up as soon as we get the load sheet for you from ground, then start securing the cabin.
No problem at all.
Okay, so we're still waiting for that load sheet from ground. According to that, let's give them a call.
Ground to cockpit. Loading has been completed. We're sending the load sheet up to you now. We'll contact you for pushback once you're closed up and the beacon light is switched on. Roger. Go ahead. Stand by for ground power disconnection. We're starting the APU now. Roger. We'll monitor the startup from down here and let you know if we see anything untoward. Roger.
Now obviously, because I've just set this aircraft up very quickly, APU is already running.
Captain. Okay, we've received the load sheet from ground. There's the passenger count, the crew count and the total souls count, plus yourselves of course.
Thank you.
Okay, looks like we're all set to go whenever you're ready.
APU startup seems good. Nothing to report. Please disconnect ground power. Roger. Stand by.
Now obviously you can see ground power may have been disconnected, but these don't actually interface with the aircraft as far as I can see, so we would still need to disconnect the external power here, and then whatever aircraft you're using via the tablet or whatever, then you'd actually need to go and remove the ground power unit, etc. Okay, let's get the doors closed.
Ground to cockpit. Go ahead. Call me when you require pushback.
Actually, we're all set to go now. Feel free to get connected.
Roger. Ground tow is connecting.
Roger.
Ground to cockpit.
Go ahead.
Tow is connected. Release parking brakes when ready to push back.
Roger.
Okay, so let's just do the normal thing. We get the transponder turned on, and let's release the parking brakes and see
Parking brake is
see
on.
what happens.
We're ready to go.
Roger. Tow is attached. Steering pin is inserted. Stand by while we start pushback.
So notice wheel steering was disconnected, so it is indeed connected to the aircraft in the simulator. Back we go. Let's get the engine started.
Cabin crew, doors to automatic, please.
Okay, Captain. We're clear of the stand and you're free to start engines.
In order to navigate the pushback, of course, you're going to have to do this manually, so we want tail left for this.
Ground, tail to the left, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now ask for your attention while we take you through the safety procedures on this aircraft. A safety
Okay, so obviously you have heard a lot of announcements that have been coming through sort of uncommanded, which can be, I guess, a little bit off-putting, because if we were flying on the VATSIM network and we needed to communicate with air traffic control, or we were doing our departure briefing and we didn't want to be interrupted, then you can see how those calls could potentially get in our way. However, let me take you through a way that you can actually sort these out and be in full control of them. So at the moment you can see this is the main button that we will be using. So if you click on it with the left mouse button, it gives you the option to select who you want to talk to. Obviously we've just pushed back, so we can't speak to the ground anymore. Left mouse click again and it'll get rid of that. Now if you have a look at the little window down here, you'll see that this circle is not coloured in, which means that we are now in control of it. If you right click it, it will turn green. That means that all of the announcements are going to be played automatically, and so when the cabin or the ground crew contact the pilot yourself, then it will answer automatically and you don't have to think about it. However, what is really neat in this new version of self-loading cargo is voice recognition. Now that comes automatically installed, and you can turn this on by middle clicking the address the cabin button. Now if I middle click that, you'll see that it turns to orange. What you then get is a window just here, and that gives you a list of things that you can do and say and the different options that become open. Let me just show you. So if I now say SLC public address, you'll see that automatically brought that up. We'll just wait for a response.
Hello, Captain.
How's it going?
We're just keeping an eye on things while we taxi to the runway.
I'll let you get on.
Thanks. Give me a call if you need anything else.
So you saw that that worked really well, and whilst I have been testing around this voice recognition, it's probably one of the better voice recognitions that I've encountered. Never have I had to repeat a command actually, so this works really well, and you get a feel that you're actually talking to both the ground crew and people in the back. Now this also applies to the different services that you can use. So if we go to the cabin management window, and let me just bring that in, you can see that all of these are just set to automatically. They're going to be done without you have to worry about it. But if you want to have more control over all of these, then obviously you can right click on it and that will get rid of the little green icon, which means now you are in control of, for this menu, the lighting, for example. Let's just get rid of that. Oh, hang on. Bring that back up. So Wi-Fi has been turned off. Well, that's greyed out because we said right at the start that Wi-Fi is not available on this flight. Perform actions on the toilets. That's a strange, strange little label. But if we have a look there, then obviously we can turn those. We can open those, for example. So we're about to take off. We're going to have those closed. So let me just get rid of those. And we can pop that back to automatic, which means they're greyed out. Same with the cabin music as well. So I don't particularly like cabin music, so we'll get rid of that and we'll store that as default. Okay, so we're ready to go. Let's taxi over to the runway. SLC PA system. Seats for takeoff. Okay, let's go on this short flight down to Gatwick. Okay, so now we're airborne. Let's see if I can just release the cabin crew. So, cabin crew, you're free to resume duties. So that hopefully means that the drink service will start. Now, one thing I did find whilst the voice recognition was turned on, just when talking to you randomly, it would pick up certain things. So it might be worthwhile turning this off unless you're wanting to actually say something. As you can see, this keeps cropping up in the corner, and I've got nothing to say at the moment, so I have just turned that off for the time being. Okay, let's see if we can talk to the passengers then. So, using the SLC PA system. Good afternoon once again from the cockpit. I hope you're enjoying the flight so far. We've reached our cruise level and are currently flying at an altitude of 34,000 feet. We're making good progress towards London and expect to arrive on time as planned. The weather up ahead looks good, so it should be a comfortable flight. As always though, please keep an eye on the seatbelt sign, and we will always recommend you stay seated and secured just in case we encounter any random areas of turbulence. You'll hear from me again once we're about to start our descent. Thank you. So, that PA that we just made was one that displayed on the menu just here. So that's why you saw me sort of reading and pausing as we did. Obviously you don't have to make these, but doing that will affect how happy the passengers are, because of course they like to hear from their pilots. We've got this flight information window obviously open just there, so you can see exactly what is happening. Now, we're obviously not at 34,000 feet like I said a moment ago, but that is because we initially put, when we were setting the flight up, that we were going to be travelling at 34,000 feet. Now, what I will do is just turn the seatbelt signs off, and that should probably trigger passengers becoming unsecured. There we are. Let's have a look at the new cabin layout menu, which is illuminated with this icon here. There you can see the cabin, the passengers, and also of course the flight attendants going about their duty. So there you can also see the phone, etc. So if we make an intercom call, what we should probably see is the flight attendants actually making their way to the phone in order to answer our call. Let's see if we can get that to work. I just need to move this down here. In fact, I'll move that out the way, and let's try that. SLC intercom. So if we can see if anyone's going to answer our phone call. There they are, look.
Hello, Captain.
Can I have some water?
No problem at all. Once we've finished serving the drinks, I'll bring it to you.
Ah, we have to wait until all the passengers are satisfied first. But obviously, it's nice to see that that level of detail is there when you're watching in the cabin. And of course, you can use this to have a look at so much more stuff. So you can see, obviously, all of the passengers. You can see boredom, thirst, hunger, how many people need the toilet, how many people are drunk. I wonder if that goes up when you're flying to more holiday-style destinations, for example. But really nice just to, in long sort of boring phases of the flight where not much is happening, we can turn this on and have a delve into what's happening. We've got a passenger manifest as well, so we can see absolutely everything that is there. And if I go on to both, obviously it shows both in there as well. Can't quite see as much detail though, but I do like this little layout. Oh, seems we've got a call. Hello? Thanks a lot.
No problem.
And if only that meant that you got a drink brought to you in real life. But that's quite neat. I do like that. Okay, let's take our aircraft towards Gatwick then and bring her in for a landing. Okay, so we're about 11-12 miles out from Gatwick. The weather here today is, looks a little bit rainy. Let's get the cabin crew sorted. SLC PA system. Cabin crew, please prepare the cabin for landing. So, 1,000 feet and a grey, miserable day in Gatwick. Still Cat 1 minimums though, so I'll disconnect the autopilot in a moment. Take this in manually for the landing, and then we'll see what our passengers think. It'll be interesting to see how they gauge us. Now, the original self-loading cargo also give us an FPM rating as well, so we'll see how that does once we've touched down.
Twenty. 10. 5.
Very light aircraft today, so I didn't want to get down quite as quickly as I'm used to. We saw a little float there, but never mind, we were down in the touchdown zone. Okay, let's shut down the engines and secure the aircraft.
Ground to cockpit.
Go ahead.
Hi, Captain. Microphone check, please.
Microphone check is 5 out of 5.
Roger. Okay, Captain. Ground power is available. Stand by. We'll start getting you offloaded in a couple of minutes.
Roger. Okay, let's get the jetway connected. Here it comes. And you can see the flight information at the top. They're just awaiting the doors. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for flying with us. We do apologise for the delay and hope it does not impact your onward journey too much. If you do require further assistance, please contact our ground team once you enter the terminal. Thank you. So there we are, a quick first look at the newly updated self-loading cargo, now version 1.6. It has been a very, very long time coming, and I know lots of previous users of self-loading cargo have now perhaps abandoned this software, but with this new update, is it enough to make you want to come back to it? Or if you've never used self-loading cargo before, is what you've seen in this video perhaps something that you think, yep, I'm gonna give that a try, because it does add a lot to it. I like the fact that you can interact with the different crew members and the ground crew and do that. I think that is a nice little touch, because of course that is something that pilots have to do in real life. So the fact that they are now bringing this into Microsoft Flight Simulator is just something else to help add to the immersion. Of course, great things are planned for self-loading cargo. The speed at which the development happens, of course, remains to be seen. The next thing will be things like delays, in-flight emergencies, tech problems, so that's going to be very interesting to see how that comes about. I would love to hear your thoughts on this new update from self-loading cargo, so please do leave a comment down below and I'll look forward to reading those. Thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, then please don't forget to leave a like. You can now also support the channel through Super Thanks, which is now available on all our videos here on the channel. If you are new to the channel, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and of course don't forget to turn on the notifications bell so you don't miss our future videos and live streams. Thank you so much for watching. I'll look forward to seeing you all again in the next one. Bye bye for now.